Hey guys, in this video I just want to talk about a metric that I think is often overlooked, and that is linked domains. Some people also call it, actually most people call it OBL, or outbound links. And not just on a specific page, but on a site as a whole. It's more common in the PBN world to discuss outbound links. For my clients, I don't do a lot of PBNs other than maybe tier 2, tier 3. But when it comes to tier 1 link building and just trying to increase quality referring domains, often we use the traffic and the DR metric. Now, myself, I have people like a VA that works on the not on hourly, but on the basis of finding me quality sites to guest post to within certain metrics. And primarily, I imagine a lot of you guys, because I know sellers like on Blackout World forums, Facebook groups, etc., often just specify like minimum traffic, minimum DR, minimum DA. What I also encourage you guys to look at is link domains, because a link domain or outbound link, like if you picture domain A links to domain B, what that is basically telling Google is that domain A, given the authority they have, thinks that domain B is a quality site. They have the credentials, they have the authority, they have the knowledge. And that may not be, in terms of SEO, they may be a brand new site, but let's say it's a doctor in your town and you're linking to him. You would feel comfortable linking to him because the knowledge and the things that he tells people on his website are supposed to be factual. And so you're kind of endorsing them. The problem is the more people you endorse, the less your endorsement is worth, quite obviously, right? So recently I purchased a couple, I think I might have got a discount. I can't remember the exact arrangement, but I got the report yesterday or today, recently anyways, for these two. These are the two domains that I was given. I think the seller signed them for $75 a link. Decent domains, totally different metrics. One is a high DR and one's a low DR. Personally, like, I don't go after high DR a lot because when I'm working on a client, they're often getting they have a press team and other people within the company that are securing these high DR links and news placements, even DR 80 plus, so like Business Insider and Forbes and that kind of stuff. Like the SEO team, aka myself, is not really involved in securing those. We just need we need a volume. We need more RDs. We need more referring domains at scale. And so I don't, when it comes to comparing these two sites, you look at the traffic and the DR alone, I much rather have this site. It has more traffic. We know that DR is indicative of the internal PR. PR hasn't been around for years. I can't remember how many years. It gets, blurred in from my past 12 years of SEO experience. But we know PR is internal, and DR is supposed to guess what your internal PR is. But traffic might do a better job at that. DR, you can have a high DR and have a spam or penalized site. But traffic, with the exception of, there's a little bit of bias because a high traffic site with a low DR, this site here, site number 2 as opposed to site number 1, site number 2 might just be in a more, a niche with less competition, a less competitive niche. So it may not actually be a stronger site. I don't want to bash the accuracy of DR, because Ahrefs has great metrics, but it's not like the be-all end-all. One or the other, it would be fine with me. If I'm hunting for guest posts, 1,000 plus traffic, if a site gets over 1,000 traffic, especially in 2021, it's hard to find keywords that are, super low competition. So the site must be doing something right. It must have a decent amount of domains, or backlinks, excuse me. And it does right here. It has 1,000 referring domains. Do I believe that those are all quality? I mean, we can dig into this a little bit more. Actually, you know what? We're not going to go through that. But if it has a spike, similar to what I've taught in my last videos, it has a spike, you can kind of tell if it's been GS8 or not, which it probably has. Any sort of guest post site has a little bit generally, unless it's just brand new, accepting guest posts. It has a little bit of spam, but it's not penalized. So that's the cool part about that. Now, let's skip over to here, link domains. As I've said, the more sites that link out, the more pages you link to, the less I would say a backlink is worth. And that comes into play here on site number 3. ventsmagazine.com, very, very like common guest post links sold on the forums, in the groups and whatnot by vendors for, hundreds of dollars. I mean, I've seen this link sold for over $300. People, I mean, when you look at the metrics, it looks like of course, the metrics are great. If you're offering 1,000 plus traffic and this has over 100,000 traffic, someone who's new to SEO or relatively like, maybe not new, but just not as in with like what the big, top 5 most common guest post sites are. Vents being one of them. There's a few others. I can share that at your request if you guys want. But when you buy so many guest posts, you start seeing like some of the similar domain names keep coming up. A newbie would kind of fall victim, being like, oh, this is great, DR76. Like, that's obviously awesome. But where it becomes less awesome is when you look at, you're dividing this link juice here among this many sites. 18,000, at least indexed by Ahrefs. It's probably closer to 20,000 or more, which makes this link, not really valuable. Like, if someone sold me a Events magazine link, like, I don't know, I would just ask for a refund or just chalk it up as a loss. Even though it has better traffic and better DR than anything in the list, it's just not, it's not going to do anything for me. I know it's not going to do anything for me. I've seen it enough. I've done it enough. When you're endorsing 18,000 sites, like, what does Google think? Like, well, unless you're like a Forbes or a CNN or something that's like mainstream, which probably has some sort of like, I don't think it's treated the same just because it's massive as one of those large sites. Like, I would believe that Google, I don't want to say it's not like the opposite of a manual penalty, like a manual approval that Forbes and CNN would have, that like these journalists are supposed to be good on this site. So, give extra link juice towards the OBLs. So again, if someone gave me this, I'd probably ask for a refund. Now, I put my site in here. I'm not really touching the SEO at all on it lately. Last year, I was doing some, like, for a fairly profitable keyword, I was doing a campaign, and I got up to like 17th or so. We're talking like tens of thousands of searches a month, and again, fairly profitable. And then I got penalized because I was just getting like a little too pushing the envelope a little bit too hard, and got punished. So, anyways, DR 35, not bad. But what makes a link on my site, for example, again, I don't sell links on my site, so this isn't a sales pitch, but what makes a link on my site so valuable, is that I only have 100 RDs. I mean, it's a lot of them are social media. A lot of them are just sources to data, and given it's like an SEO blog that I don't really touch very much, but it's going to have links to like Moz and Ahrefs and different blogs like that. So it kind of goes back to like PBNs, where you don't want to buy links on a site, on a network that talks about like cannabis, like CBD, pharma, casino, because like that's a high spam niche, and you don't. If a site links to a shout out to Hatred, his PBN accounts for this. He really scans over what his site's linked to. But if a site like a PBN links to some basically unapproved, crappy spam sites, then that's going to hurt the PBN itself. That's linking the new acquired link. Hatred.io, I gotta give a shout out to him. Offers some great PBN links. Starting at $15 a link, but his real good links are over $100 a link. One time though, so it's not a rental either. They do move the needle. Great links. Tell him I sent you. Tell him Josh sent you. I recently gave him a testimonial on his. I think it's going on his homepage. But a good network like that checks over the link profiles of the clients and gives approval to make sure that they're not, the link profiles aren't trash, because it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the site linking out to. So back to here, site number 4 of my blog. Like, it would be. If I found a site with similar of all this, I would pay over $200 for a link because of how exclusive this position is. Whereas I don't know if I would pay more than $20 for a link from Vents Magazine. It's been so long since I've got one from them, so I can't even tell you what I have paid in the past. But it's just not. It's not worth it. It's not valuable. It's not going to move the needle. These did move the needle. Again, I think I mentioned at the start of this video, but moved up 4 spots on a page 1 for a fairly profitable keyword. Like, it will bring in at least 4 figures a month in sales. So a fairly profitable keyword, probably closer to 5 figures once we get up the top of the page. But I'm very happy. with these two somewhat mediocre links, not crazy traffic, not crazy DR. The real magic is over here. So, anyways, that's all I have for now. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.